bullshit. You know what? He expelled all the Russian diplomats and called them spies. And you know what Putin did? He crossed his arms and he laughed and he said, "You Americans in the embassies here, you stay. We're going to wait till Donald J. Trump comes in."
Yep. And Dan Patrick, I want to briefly interject you. And then I want to hear from our caller down there in Southwest Florida, too. Becky is in the chat room, and she has had a lot of interesting things here to say. She talks about, this is what Becky is saying, she says, lay the blame where it belongs. They are mad. Sure, they are mad. We decimated their countries. Do not forget that we destroyed their country so the Bushes and the Clintons could have their oil money. They are looking for a place to live because we destroyed their homes. She said, look at Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. Who bombed them? That's what Becky Glackenbutzko is pointing out from the chat room.
Well, did they not earn that to have the countries destroyed by bringing down the Twin Towers and other terrorist acts that they continue to perpetrate against the American people and European people? I think they've earned that right to lose their homes, which weren't much to begin with anyway. They're
no,
caged.
You know what? I have to disagree with that. I think what it is the globalists, it's part of their master plan to take over these lands for their oil, for control, and to manipulate these people into other countries to steal our wealth and to actually abolish Christianity, because Christianity is what has civilized this world. Christianity is the only religion that promotes love, pure love, unselfish love for our fellow humans. There's no other religion that does this. There's no hate in Christianity.
And it's been taken advantage of. and we've been taken advantage of over and over again.
Exactly.
You're right. The promotion of love and Christian benevolence has been constantly taken advantage of. And what we've done is, with this election, we said we're mad, and we're saying enough is enough. We're stopping it. It's being stopped. Mm-hmm. And that's what Donald J. Trump represents to me is the return of the white Christian to take back his own country that God gave him. And it was given to the white Christian by the Lord. There's a covenant between man and God in the Bible, and it came true when the people settled this country. And if you study your religion, your religion and your history, you would understand this. But
I did study my religion. That's why I left it. I left it 50 years ago.
But back to the lady.
I study history also. Thank you very much.
Well, back to the lady's point in the chat. Yes, people from these countries are being pushed out by a master plan of the globalists. They want to dumb us down. They want to incite hate and division to bring on their new world order to control all of us, which is opposite of what Christianity does. Christianity is about individuals loving one another and being cooperative with one another. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's not about give me, give me, give me. It's about I will help you, help you, help you. And so once
I'm not a Christian, and I didn't have to be taught that.
Well, you don't.
At church.
You know what? You don't have to.
I didn't have to be taught that at church.
Well,
I practice that every day.
Excellent.
It's called common sense.
Excellent. Well,
it's called having empathy for your fellow man.
We are rational beings. We are rational.
Not all of us. Not all of us.
Not all of us, but
not
don't
all.
You think as
no.
society we should work towards that? That's
you've got Jeffrey Dahmers. You've got serial killers. You've got they're not everybody is the same.
Exactly, but what we need to do is prop up the rational, natural law. The rational part of our brains, not the reptilian part of our brains, where we just go for whatever we want, whatever feels good. What we need to do is promote in our society reason, logos. logos and natural law, and then we'll all be able to get along much better. Love one another.
But you know as well as I do, that's never going to happen.
Well, it's never going to happen.
It would be nice.
It's never
yes, it would be
happen.
nice, but it's never going to happen.
It won't happen.
Just because of all these things that we've been talking about.
Well, that's because we don't promote it. We give excuses for people. We give excuses for people to act like animals.
Animals, exactly. That was my exact. You know what? Without that reasoning part that you just described, then man becomes just nothing but a pure animal. And the thing that separates men from animals is his ability to reason and worship a higher power. Animals don't worship a higher power. Men do.
Yep. And men and women of reason can control their impulses. That's why they don't war with one another. When they control their impulses, they try to reason to work things out.
But if you'll stop and think, since the beginning of mankind, we have had war. Man is a warring creature. Always has been, always will be. The key word there is man.
I'll have a medium and.
Pardon?
A medium cone.
You know, what I think is that the people are afraid of Donald Trump because they think they're going to lose some kind of rights that they gained during the Obama administration.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing is he's taking away rights that should have never been given to people in the first place. Muslims should have never been allowed to come in here and set up mosques where they have radical Islamics that want to destroy buildings and human beings in America. Mexicans should have never been allowed to come here illegally and set up drug dealing networks. You go to the California penal system, it's chock full of Mexicans and Mexican gangsters that do nothing but sell narcotics. You know, and these are the people we want out of our Christian country. We don't want them here because they create a disturbance. They're of the animal ilk. They don't register.
But what I would say is we would love to have rational, natural law people from Mexico that follow the law, that want to be productive members of society, that can contribute, that are reasonable, and especially if they're God-loving, God-fearing people.
It's exactly how this country was built, on the backs of the people you just described. All the immigrants that came in this country that believed like you just described. And that's how this country became the great country that it is. Because all of us have roots from somewhere else, but they were illegal roots. They didn't come here to perpetrate criminal behavior and activity and take advantage of the system. The immigrants that came here at the turn of the 20th century, they came here for a better life, and they came here to follow the law and be productive. And they used their skills that they had brought with them to make a better America.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want to return to.
You think that a child that was, like I said, she came over with her, maybe say she came over with her, I don't know where the girl came from, but she came through, like, I think Colombia or Mexico or something as a 14-year-old girl with her mom and dad. And, well, do you think that 14-year-old girl had a choice?
You know what?
No.
It doesn't matter to me. Without papers, without legal naturalization into this country, I don't care. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. I don't care. Their parents made a choice, and their parents made a bad choice. Get them out of here. We can't afford to support them. There's too many nice, good American-born.
But yet we can spend $100 million a day on war.
I don't know why are you bringing that up. That has nothing to do with what you just discussed. You know, you're discussing a child.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't take care of some 14-year-old girls in this country who probably are going to go on to get jobs and become productive citizens, but yet you support a $100 million war.
You know what? I don't know about the war, but I do know that a lot of these 14-year-olds you described become 15-year-old mothers on welfare and food stamps. And they're here illegally. Get them out of here. The war part, I don't care. The government decide. War is a whole other issue. They want to wage war, and Donald J. Trump hasn't waged war against anybody. Barack Hussein Obama's waged a lot of war. So we don't know what's going to happen with the Trump administration, but he hasn't mentioned going to war with anybody. And you mentioned that he's friends with Putin. Well, that's supposedly our biggest enemy. If he makes friends with him, that's a great thing in my mind. And if he stops war, that's even a better thing. And the only way you could stop war with some people that are animals is through force. We found that out in World War II when we had to bomb Japan with the atomic weapon because the Japanese were not going to surrender. And we knew that. Millions more lives would have been lost than they did a cost-benefit analysis, and they realized that by dropping the atomic bomb, we're going to save millions of lives, and they're going to have a heavy casualty, but it was well worth the detonation of the atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It saved millions of lives. It stopped the war, and it's cold in its feet. And if that's what it takes, there are certain people on this earth that need to be stopped through the force of war. That's an unfortunate part of life here on this globe, and that's always going to be. But what we're talking about is apples and oranges.
Do you think, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Putin is a dictator?
No,
I don't know. I really don't know.
I think that they have I think that their political processes, he's got a more of a powerful hold over his country than our presidents per se. They don't have the same checks and balances, say a Congress and a Supreme Court and a president, and one can outbalance the other one. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he's a total dictator. No, I would not say it was. I wouldn't put him in the same status as Stalin or Hitler or Lenin or any of these other people that were truly dictators. No, he's not.
You know what? It's interesting you're bringing that up. I think in some ways we have a dictatorial government here. We have a shadow government. We have a shadow government of globalists that are running the scene here. And so I'd be more afraid of that than I would Putin.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Just as I was studying the talk tonight, I read that George Soros, one of the biggest globalists on the planet, lost $1 billion because Trump won. He hedged all his money in the stock market against Trump winning the presidency. When Trump won, the market went up, not down, and he lost $1 billion in a matter of a couple days. And he's one of the biggest globalists on the planet.
Exactly.
And nothing he would like to see is but a one world order.
Yep, New World Order. I think that's what JFK was warning us about, the secret societies.
And it probably cost him his life, Right. And I don't think that. I think that people are going to. I think the Trump presidency is going to come in, and there's going to be a lot of noise, but eventually it's going to settle down, and people are going to see that life is going to return to the good old days, like when I was born in the '60s. And in the early 70s, until things turned really badly in the last 20, 25 years. And you'll see. There's nothing to fear.
No.
Nothing to fear at all.
I think we've been liberated.
Well, apparently you have good health care and you're not afraid of losing it, so.
Hey,
I
worry about it all.
You don't have anything to fear about your health care.
Well, I sure hope not.